decided to spend some time in Paris. I'd always wanted to live here and I dreamed of making a record here. I've always loved French music and I wanted to do something a little bit different. My last 3 albums were recorded in New Zealand and I just felt like I needed a change of location to feel excited and creative again.
Dancing is only good for touching strangers. Hands are only made to be tied. Marriage is only made to ease our minds. The mind, the only place to hide.
When I arrived in Paris, I really knew that I wanted to record an album here. And my manager is French, so she put me in touch with a few people. And some friends from New Zealand had actually got me in touch with some French music before I came. And one of the albums that I fell in love with was an album by a French artist called Babex. After listening to that album and totally falling in love with him as an artist, I made some phone calls and my manager made some phone calls and we set up a meeting where I got in touch with him and asked him for his advice about recording in Paris. At that time he was really too busy to be involved in the project in a major way, but he put me in touch with a whole lot of really great people in Paris, his friends and his band, and that's how I met Max.
Qu'elle a vraiment réussi à prendre ça comme un job, ne serait-ce que la situation de donner son album à un Français et lui dire ok, c'est toi le producteur, tu vas faire donc ce disque et je vais essayer de te laisser faire, quoi, de pas contrôler trop l'histoire, d'accepter que je maîtrise pas la chose. Et ça c'est intéressant en fait de l'avoir travaillé dans ce sens-là et me laisser complètement le champ libre. Après, il y a aussi autre chose d'intéressant là-dedans, c'est le rapport à la langue qui fait que j'ai pas un anglais très sophistiqué. Et donc, quelque part, les conversations sont limitées. On peut pas vraiment se prendre la tête pendant des heures sur ce qu'on est en train de faire. Finalement, ça se passe qu'en musique. C'est la musique qui parle, quoi. Et c'est ça qui fait le dialogue. C'est ça marche ou ça marche pas.
Right from the first day, it felt like a really good vibe in the studio, and from then it's been really easy, actually. I had nothing to worry about. Everyone involved in the project has been so lovely.
Digging for the devil, crowing in time, searching for gold down in the dirt.
Je pense que c'est surtout le personnage de Flip qui décide de faire un album à Paris, qui a une série de textes et qui visiblement est dans une période où elle arrive à une certaine maturité. J'ai l'impression d'entendre ça. Et que quelque part ces chansons peuvent être jouées presque de n'importe quelle manière. C'est toujours juste la chanson qui va transpercer l'histoire. Moi je suis là juste pour amener du décor, quoi. Voilà, je pense que le décor on peut le changer facilement. Et en l'occurrence elle a choisi Paris comme décor, donc on lui amène une sorte de décor parisien. Mais au final, la seule chose qui se transfère vraiment, c'est cette voix avec ces textes qu'on finit à un moment ou à un autre par se le prendre vraiment dans la tronche. Je suis quand même en train d'écouter une songwriter, quoi, avec une façon assez singulière d'écrire et qui peut visiblement être écoutée par tous, quoi. Elle a quelque chose qui, à mon avis, peut traverser facilement la planète.
when me and Max sat down and talked about the record, at the start we talked about it being, we wanted it to be a dark album, but we really wanted it to be different from my last few records. I wanted to eliminate any element of girliness. I really felt like I wanted to make a slightly more mature album and make something that was a little bit more urban and more indicative of I guess, my experience over the last couple of years, which is some interesting times, a little bit of suffering, a little bit of happy, and so the album, I think, is a pretty good reflection of that. Such a beautiful city. You know, what I love about Paris is that the city has really the extremes of decadence and despair. The real extremes, and nothing in between really. It's the dirtiest, filthiest, hardest, meanest place I've ever been. And also the most beautiful, magnificent, creative, beautiful, incredible city that I've ever been. So it has those two really strong extremes, and I love that. And I love that. I love a bit of grunge, I love a bit of decadence, I love to walk down some filthy streets and be in dirty little wine bars, but then I also love to go to visit Hotel Bristol and drink a way overpriced, beautiful glass of wine, surrounded by extremely wealthy people. And I can do that in Paris. It's kind of schizophrenic. I like that. The smell of strangers, the scent of sin, the work of ages, the taste of gin, the fault of no one,
yes,
the dirty spin, the smell of strangers, the scent of